ever imagine a whole city, like, frozen in time? That's Pompeii, right?
Yeah.
Buried by Mount Vesuvius back in 79 AD. And that's
Yeah.
what we're diving into today.
It's interesting. We always think about the tragedy, but Pompeii, I mean, it was a thriving Roman city,
Yeah.
like a snapshot of Roman life.
Yeah, this wasn't some like sleepy little village,
Right.
right? This was a place that was like the heart of it all. I mean, it says here they were known for their agriculture, trade, architecture. This was a wealthy, bustling Roman town.
And diverse. They had Greek influence, Etruscan, even Samnite, all layered on top of each other, centuries of history, all about to be frozen in time.
Okay, so like paint me a picture. I'm a baker, let's say, in Pompeii. Or maybe I'm a weaver. What's my day-to-day life like before Vesuvius erupts?
Okay, so you're up before sunrise, right?
Mhm.
The smell of baking bread is everywhere. Pompeii had like dozens of bakeries.
Really?
Oh yeah, workshops are opening, the market's already starting to get loud. You can even smell garum in the air.
Ew!
That fermented fish sauce that the Romans loved.
At sunrise. Okay, maybe my stomach needs to adjust to ancient Roman times. But, okay, so you're living in Pompeii, but you're also living in the shadow of this volcano. I mean, even if it's been quiet for generations, you can't just ignore that, can you?
No, definitely not. And you'd be right to be a little nervous. Pompeii had felt Vesuvius's power before. Only 17 years earlier, there was this massive earthquake in 62 AD. Caused some pretty serious damage.
And what's crazy is that people just accepted earthquakes as, like, a normal thing, right?
It's wild, isn't it?
Like, oh, another earthquake, whatever, let's go rebuild.
Totally. It's like another Tuesday for them. They just shrugged it off, rebuilt. And you know what? They actually used it as an opportunity. They improved their city. New buildings, even grander than before. They were resilient.
Makes you think maybe they were a little too comfortable with that volcano in their backyard.
Maybe. But that's what makes the eruption so tragic. Pompeii wasn't fading away. It was thriving.
Right when it all came crashing down. But before we get there, we have to talk about our main man, Pliny the Younger, the eyewitness who gave us the most detailed account of the eruption.
Oh, Pliny the Younger. Yeah, every history buff knows his name. He was just a teenager when Vesuvius erupted, but his account, written years later, it's chilling. And incredibly valuable because it's intertwined with the story of his uncle, Pliny the Elder. So Pliny the Elder, he wasn't just some, historian. He was the admiral of the Roman fleet.
Wow. Okay, so he's in charge of the Bay of Naples, sees this massive, plume of smoke? Ash.
Yeah, like a giant, I don't even know how to describe it. Imagine,
A tower of ash.
yeah, and it just keeps rising from across the water.
What's he do?
He doesn't even hesitate. Launches a rescue fleet, sails straight toward Pompeii, ash and pumice raining down on them.
No way! Talk about bravery. What about Pliny the Younger? He's back home taking notes.
Well, he was actually with his uncle when it started. But yeah, Pliny the Elder, he was all action. Younger Pliny, he hung back, watched everything unfold, from a safe distance, of course.
Smart kid.
Yeah, but can you imagine witnessing that? He described a massive cloud, like an umbrella, rising from the volcano.
That's like something out of a movie.
And that, by the way, that's why those huge eruptions are called Plinian eruptions, named after, well, a teenager who saw it all happen.
Wow. Two Plinies, two perspectives on this disaster. It's amazing we have these first-hand accounts.
I know, right? It's like looking through a window back in time.
It's wild. And I always thought Pompeii was like, boom, one day, it's over. But our sources, they say it was a 2-day event.
Oh, yeah. A 2-day nightmare, you could say.
So how did it all go down?
Well, day one starts with this, like showers of pumice and ash.
Like those little,
Yeah, light enough that people could outrun it. They had time, maybe 18 hours or so, to grab their things, get out. I'd be grabbing my family and running for the hills. Smart. But a lot of Pompeians, they stayed put. Maybe they thought it was just another tremor. Maybe they couldn't bear to leave their homes.
Can't imagine leaving everything behind.
It's tough to say. But whatever the reason, things were about to get a lot worse. As day turned to night, Vesuvius, well, it unleashed its full fury.
That's where the pyroclastic flows come in, right?
Exactly. Imagine this. A superheated, fast-moving avalanche of, well, everything. Gas, ash, volcanic debris, all of it, just hurtling down the mountain.
Okay, now I'm starting to understand why everything is so well preserved. That sounds terrifying.
It was devastating. Pompeii, Herculaneum, everything in its path, gone. Temperatures reached hundreds of degrees. If you were caught in the open, you were, well...
There was no surviving that.
No. And those who survived the initial blast, while they were buried under meters of ash and debris.
Centuries later, Pompeii's rediscovered. It's incredible that anything survived at all.
Right. But the early excavations, they weren't exactly scientific.
How so?
Well, it was more like treasure hunting than archaeology.
Get in, get the goods, get out.
Pretty much. They were so focused on digging up gold, statues, things like that, that they often missed crucial details.
So they were robbing the dead instead of learning from them.
You could say that. But then, 19th century, Giuseppe Fiorelli takes over.
Fiorelli.
Yeah, he realized they needed a more, I guess you could say, organized approach.
Makes sense.
So he introduced grid systems, documentation, even plaster casts.
Wait, he invented those casts? The ones of the victims?
Yep. He recognized that the empty spaces in the ash, those weren't just holes. Those are the last moments of Pompeii's residents, preserved for centuries.
It's those details, those frozen figures that make Pompeii feel so real.
Exactly. It's about the people.
More than the buildings or even the artifacts.
And it's about so much more than just tragedy, too. Pompeii gives us this incredible window into a lost world. We can walk those streets, see their homes, their shops, even read their graffiti.
Which reminds me, didn't we see something about a secret museum?
You're thinking of the Gabinetto Segreto, home to Pompeii's, shall we say, erotic art. Bit of a culture shock for those early archaeologists.
Really?
Oh, yeah. When they first uncovered that stuff, back in the 19th century, it was considered way too scandalous to show anyone.
Archaeologists getting embarrassed? I never would have guessed.
It happens. Took centuries for that collection to be displayed openly. Goes to show you how much our own perceptions can change, I guess. What was shocking then is just history now.
I always pictured everyone in Pompeii, like, choking on ash.
Yeah, the suffocation myth.
Exactly. But it sounds like the heat from those pyroclastic flows, that was the real killer.
Oh, absolutely. Like a blast furnace, instantly fatal.
It's incredible what scientists can figure out from centuries ago.
It really is. Pompeii is like this amazing puzzle, Archaeology, history, science, it all comes together.
So we've walked the streets, met the people, felt that heat. But what else is out there? It says here only 2/3 of Pompeii has been excavated.
That's the thing about archaeology, right? It's
Yeah.
all about discovery. Every artifact, every inscription, it could change everything.
So there could be another Pompeii down there.
Who knows? Maybe we'll find a hidden villa with these amazing mosaics, or a lost library full of Roman scrolls. The possibilities are endless.
That's exciting. Even after all these centuries, Pompeii still has surprises up its sleeve.
Totally. And here's something for you to think about. Mount Vesuvius, it's still active.
It is.
So what have we learned from Pompeii? How can we use that knowledge, to prepare for future eruption?
It makes you think. Pompeii is a powerful reminder that as advanced as we think we are, nature, it always has the upper hand.
It's true.
Respect the natural world, learn from the past, right?
Absolutely. Imagine walking through Pompeii today. The streets are empty, the buildings frozen, but you look closer and you see the stories.
The people who lived there, loved there, died there. Pompeii isn't just about destruction, though. It's also about resilience. I mean, they rebuilt after the earthquake. Who's to say they wouldn't have done it again?
And their story lives on in their art, their architecture. Thanks to people like Fiorelli, those stories, they're going to be told for centuries.
That's the power of Pompeii, a city frozen in time, a story that's still unfolding. Well, folks, that's our deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those imaginations firing.